Hello, welcome back to HunterTuned. I'm sorry about not uploading as much lately, guys. I've kind of just been, I don't know, not wanting to film. Whatever, it just happens, I guess. But we're going to try to get back on the daily uploads here this week, and hopefully, you know, we'll all be good. I did want to start this video off by thanking Brent from PFI Speed for using the injectors and tuning with them. He actually reached out to me in the last video and was like, hey man, you got some dead times for those injectors? And I said, yeah, I mean, I just use like the preset, you know, 1000cc, you know, you can use like the ID 1000 dead times or whatever, and the car runs fine. It runs completely fine. Now some tuners like to have exact dead times so they don't have to tune the map as much. I think that's how it is. Honestly, I don't even really know like a lot about injector dead times and shit like that. I just tune the map for what the car likes, and that's just how I tune. Some, you know, like I said, some tuners are a little bit different and they're pickier with like dead times and whatever, but I mean, as long as the fuel is good and, you know, you got your ignition set where you want it, I mean, I don't really think there's really much else more. Anyways, like I said, that's just kind of the way I tune. I mean, I've had great success with just using the RC1000 for the flex fuel and RC750 for the dead times on each injector, you know, the normal truck style and then the flex style. You know, and I've had no issues whatsoever, and the car runs completely fine, you know, no problems. But anyways, they got the car running on the dyno. I'm sure you guys have all seen Boosted Boys' video. But they got the car running on the dyno, and it made like 450 horsepower on 8 pounds of boost, which sounds amazing. That sounds like a shitload of power, and you know, that's fucking awesome, guys. I'm very happy for them that they made the good power, and you know, injectors worked good and everything like that. But to be completely honest, I really don't think that's a realistic number. Honestly, at least on a dyno here, that setup and combo with that manifold and whatnot would probably make closer to like 350, 400 on a good day, 350 on a normal day. At least on a dyno around here, where it's like they call them heartbreaker dynos. I got a Dyno Dynamics that I use in a town right over from me, and it reads a little bit lower than some dynos. I think Brent uses a Dyno Jet, but the dyno that I use is a Dyno Dynamics, and it reads a little bit low. So like a 400 horsepower car goes 10s. If Jeremy's car goes 10s in the quarter mile, you know, that's awesome. Like I said, I just think it's not realistic. I like to assume that power levels are directly related to mile an hour at the track. And you know, my hatch a few years ago made 440 horsepower on a dyno here. The Dyno Dynamics that I use here made 440 horsepower, and it went 1050 at 135 in the quarter. Kyle's hatch that makes 750 or 700 horse on Brent's dyno goes like the same mile an hour. Please tell me how that works. You know what I mean, guys? So, you know, it might just be like a pipe dream out there where everybody's like, oh my God, Brent's like this amazing tuner because it made 450. But it's like, dude, I don't know if guys realize that they have corrections set up on their dyno, and they even talk about it, that they have a correction factor set up on the dyno to raise the horsepower because of the altitude that they're at, because cars naturally make less power there. If they had their correction set at 0, that car probably would have made 250. And if it made 250, they would like break the internet and piss everybody off, and Brent wouldn't get any business. That's just how it works. So I mean, I don't necessarily blame them for setting the dyno how it is and whatever, you know, just because it is a little bit more of a realistic number and it's not, you know, 200 horsepower. You'd obviously rather have it read a little bit higher than lower, which I totally understand. But just for relating my cars to their cars is all I'm saying is I think that their dyno reads a little bit higher than mine would. You know, same with Sloppy Mechanics. Sloppy Mechanics has a normal dyno, and in my eyes, a normal dyno. You know, a 500 wheel horsepower car 550 wheel horsepower car goes 9s in the quarter, according to Slop Mechanics. And that sounds exactly right with the dyno that I have, because a 440 horsepower car goes mid-10s at 135. So, and my Mustang goes, you know, damn near right there, and it probably makes 550. But a lot of people are like, dude, there's no way your car's got to make 800. It's got to make 800 to go that fast. And it's like, no, you're just racing dynos at this point, guy. You're literally racing dynos. So everybody needs to get that out of their head where, like, I don't know, I've had so many people message me, but I guarantee I'll throw a dyno video up of my car and it'll make like 340 or 350 on the same boost, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, Hunter just sucks at tuning so much. Appreciate Brent for giving me a shout out. I think the Boosted Boys, they don't really do shout outs, and I feel like Kyle doesn't really want to, you know, do that kind of stuff with his channel. I feel like he's got a lot of pride in his channel and doesn't want to share it with anybody unless they're giving him something, which I try to do, but whatever. I'm not salty or anything about that, but I just feel like you kind of see the real side of Kyle in this situation. I probably won't even use this clip, but you know, whatever. I feel like if you guys want to race dynos, we can race at the drag strip and we can see who's faster there, because I feel like that's the true measure of power. You know, one dyno can read higher than another and one can read lower than another, but the drag strip at the end of the track, whatever you mile an hour, is the same every fucking time, because it's the same distance and the same shit. Like, that's the true test of horsepower in my opinion. And you know, it is what it is. Fucking jibber jabber, let's get to work here. Hopefully a lot of that stuff made sense to you guys with the dyno and, you know, tuning and shit with the dead times. I know I've had quite a few questions on the dead times, and you know, it's just my style of tuning. I'm not like the pickiest person with dead times. I know a lot of people that tune the way I do, and you just tune the fucking map and you don't worry about like exact dead times and shit like that, because it doesn't matter that much in the real sense of things. I mean, it does if you want to be picky. I do have the exact dead times that Brent used to tune that car, but you know, whatever. If you guys are interested, you can always email me or whatever, or hit up the website for injectors. I've already gotten a few orders coming in. So anyways, I got an axle seal today for my EK hatch, because the passenger side axle seal is actually leaking. So I'm gonna try to fix this oil leak on the car, because I don't really feel like losing all the transmission fluid and then missing a gear when I'm racing Jeremy. We'll get to putting this axle seal in and show you guys how it's done, I suppose. And then we'll pick back up in a minute. Now, back to the theory here with racing dynos and tuners or whatever. I feel like the dyno at PFI has compensation built into it because they are at a higher altitude. Now, when you're at a higher altitude, the air is thinner. So if you have an all-motor car and you go wide open throttle, you're not going to be sucking in the same amount of air as you would at sea level, because at sea level the air is more dense, and the denser the charge of air going into the engine, the more power it's going to make. The less dense the air charge is going into the engine, the less power you're going to make. So Brent has this dyno set up, at least in my opinion. I don't know if he does or not, and I'm just talking skeptically here, or I'm just talking right now, just kind of thinking in my own head of how this is going to make sense to me. And Brent has the dyno compensated for altitude for an all-motor car. He leaves it there for boosted cars, which in turn will read a higher horsepower number, if that makes sense, because 8 pounds of boost at sea level is the same at 8 pounds of boost at a mile high above sea level. I think. I'm pretty sure, because if you have 8 pounds of boost in the charge pipe and the intake manifold at a mile high above sea level, you're still going to have 8 pounds of boost at sea level. You know what I mean? The turbo is just going to have to spin harder to make that 8 pounds of boost, if that makes sense. So on a boosted application, I feel like the power level should be the same, whether it's at sea level or a mile high. If the dyno is set at like a, you know, base setting, no compensation added, etc. So I would love to see PFI dyno the B20V Tech at their normal setting on the dyno, or any car for that matter, if it's boosted, and then add the compensation for an all-motor car. That would make sense to me, at least. And like I said, I don't know if he still has the compensation on for boost cars or not, but the way that Kyle's car makes power and what it traps in the quarter mile and all that, it kind of makes sense that they have a little bit of compensation added into the dyno. And I'm not hating on them guys whatsoever. I'm just kind of talking right now and, you know, thinking out loud to you guys to kind of make sense of some of this stuff. But anyways, I'm going to get to jacking the car up now and draining the transmission fluid and then popping the axle out. And then we'll get the axle seal installed and I'll show you guys how to do that. Alright, so I got the front end of the car all tore apart here. I got the axle removed from the transmission. Got the lower bolt here on the shift fork off. Lower ball joints off, and the spindles moved out of the way so I can pull the axle out a little bit. And now we can see the seal. So this seal right here is the one I'm going to be replacing. And to remove it, actually this seal seems like it's not even pushed in all the way. I don't know, we'll just replace it anyways. It's like $4 for this seal. It's not really too bad, but I just have a little pick here and I'm just pulling on it. Pull back. I don't really have a lot of leverage with that guy. I'll try a screwdriver. Now, if you ruin the seal pulling it out, it's not a big deal because you got a new one anyways. I got a pry bar in there this time. Pry bar actually worked a lot better to get that seal out. There we are. She's junk now. If it wasn't broke then, it's definitely broken now. So now, I'm just going to clean up in this area here. Get a rag in here, get all the oil out of there. And then we'll put the new seal in. No, I put an axle seal in. Alright guys, so we just got the axle seal installed. Is my camera dirty? I'll wipe it off. Is that better? Alright. So anyways, I just got done putting an axle seal in on the car. And I ended up going to the parts store and they only had the driver's side, the one that the intermediate shaft goes in. There's two different sizes for axle seals on this car, and they only had the one for the intermediate shaft. They didn't have one for the passenger side, so I ended up having a couple transmission cases up in my attic, and I took a good seal out of this one and I put it in. So so far so good. Nothing's leaking. No fluids leaking anywhere anymore, so that's a good sign right there. So then we ended up taking the, we warmed the car up, and it had no heat. And it hasn't had heat. Like, the first time I put it together here after the head gasket, it had really weak heat. And I drove it for a while, and then all of a sudden it, like, flicked a switch, and the heat came on. So I had a big air bubble in the system, so we had to re-bleed the cooling system one more time. And we just took it out for a little drive. And I'm like, oh, fuck, we should turn around and go grab the camera. So we came back home and grabbed my camera, and we went to go pop the hood, and the fucking hood cable broke. It's always something. It's always something, guys. Always something. So the hood cable's busted. I really don't feel like fucking with it. So we're going to go to the parts store quick and get some hood pins, and put some hood pins on this beast, and then we will see where we're at after that. As you can tell, it's fucking freezing cold outside. It's like 30 degrees. At least it's sunny out, but it is cold. So we're just going to get these hood pins installed, and then we'll take the car out for a little rip and see how it's doing again. And yeah, we'll pick up then. You got any updates to say about this whole dyno situation, Brent? Or Michael?
What dyno situation?
About the density of the air and shit and how the compensation. We talked to a couple tuners, like good tuners in the area,
Yeah.
and they all agreed that 450, 8 pounds is unheard of. Like,
Right.
It doesn't happen.
See, it might be,
Even the biggest fucking turbo you could put, maybe like an 80 mil turbo on a Honda might
but
make
it
that.
might be 8 pounds in Colorado, but if you took that same car here, it might be like 14 or 15.
Yeah,
Because the way, like Jacob was saying, the way pressures work at oxygen and the amount of certain air and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Physics.
yeah. So I don't know. Whatever. It might be Colorado 450 horsepower, but 8 pounds of boost here in Wisconsin at sea level on a Dyno Dynamics or something that I would use would make like 350, 3 to 375, anywhere in there probably on this setup. But anyways, we are gonna go get some hood pins quick, and then we'll take this thing over for a rip. Engage with the viewer.
What?
What are we doing? What are we doing, Michael?
I'm supposed to engage with you guys more. I just did. I'm kidding. We're putting in hood pins because Hunter broke the hood cable, like he said.
We're going right here. This is the spot we're using, so you guys can see. This is on the front here, and the pins fit right in. We just had to drill the hole a little bigger. But I mean, right here, that's looking dog pile chicken smile. We got the old D-walt, and we're just sending it right through the hood. Now, when you do this, you want to measure precisely. What I do is I take some grease, and I take a little fingerful, and I dab it on. I dab it on top of the hood pin right here. Hang on.
You got Tourette's or what?
Hang on.
As you can see, there's no grease on there. None.
There's a little bit. Okay, so anyways, you put some grease on there, and then you go like this, and you slam the hood down onto the grease. And then, the grease will be on the hood, if you know what I mean. So when the grease is on the hood here, you know where to fucking drill the hole. So you drill where the grease was.
Oh yeah, there, huh? When we pick up these accents, there, guy. Hey guy, when do we do this guy there? Canada.
Canada. Are you from Canada? So anyways, we drilled some holes. Look at that. Shuts.
I'm going to call you Shia LaBeouf.
What's that?
The movie Holes.
Oh, I haven't seen that since like elementary school.
Yeah, I'm still in elementary school.
You're you're like 12, aren't you?
Yeah.
How old are you, Michael?
22.
Minus 10 years.
Right.
Okay, so anyways, we got the holes drilled, and as you can see, they look really shitty. Look at that. It's like an oval. But we have a solution for all you guys that are gonna you're gonna take like 4 hours or a whole day to do this kind of a project when it literally just took us 4.5 minutes. They give you these fancy little cover your fuck up things.
Cover your fuck up.
That's a good one. So once you got the cover your fuck up plates here, you just put the cover your fuck up plate right over the pin. And look at that. It looks like a professional did it.
And not a fuck up?
And not a fuck up like me. Yeah. That guy didn't do this. You know what I mean?
Big Lebowski.
Yeah. So once you have that guy drill your holes, the guy just has to go through and put the fuck up plates on the guy's hole here,
What guy?
But don't have that guy send you injectors.
What guy? The guy?
That guy? The guy?
The guy.
The guy.
What guy?
I don't know.
Some dude?
Some dude? Some dude sent these guys that guy injectors. Alright, so there we go. We got the hood pin on. Now we just got to set the height. How high do we want to be? How high do you want to be, Michael?
420 blazing.
420, nah. Ooh. Ooh, that one's sticky. Do we need to drill it? Wow.
You don't even need the pins.
It's an automatic latch. What one's sticky, dude? I gotta find out here. Okay, that one's rubbing a little bit. So is that one. Alright, I know where to drill. Holy fucking moly. Alright. Want to hold the hood, Michael?
Yep.
Make sure you get all the shavings in the turbo. And your eyeballs. And then break your drill. We're good. That one should be good.
cut the wrong side. I totally did.
I totally cut the wrong side. If you ain't a fan of hood pins, son, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems and a hood latch ain't one. Hit me.
I tried.
Fucking mint. Mint. Mint.
What was that first move you did there? No. It was like a spread eagle, like a done with ballet, like you're in the...
Alright. What?
Nothing.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have so much footage to edit, dude. You're a douche. I'm just kidding.
You're a douche, dude.
Yeah. It's my gamer tag on Xbox. Hit me up. Yo, what do you all know about Thomas the Train?
Choo choo. Okay, I'll turn it off.
Dude, that dude does not know how to build a motor. You see how much shit's smoking?
Yeah, look at that.
That guy can't build motors. That
Hey,
dude.
how do you have your B20 vented?
Oh, out of the block.
You can't do that on a B20.
Why not?
There's no black box or nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You gotta take the fucking plugs out on the back.
What plugs? We gotta do it right under the valve cover, don't we?
No.
Yeah.
No. Alright, here we go. 450 wheel B series pull. I'm just kidding. Mine's probably only 400 because I'm on 6.
Look at that. That's it. That was a pretty good burnout. Done laying asphalt for the day?
That was a good one.
It was really good. There's a couple pops and bangs in that sucker.
What?
There's a couple pops and bangs in that sucker.
guys, so I just got home and everything is going freaking awesome with the car. There's no more oil on the back of the motor, like from the axle seal that I replaced. So that is good to go, even though it was a used axle seal. I did not damage it taking it out, and I put it in, you know, it was good to go. So everything's good there. Car is full of tranny fluid again, and the coolant overflow is completely dry. We beat on this thing pretty freaking hard tonight, and it held up great. So turbo's doing good still. This is the VS Racing 3582 GT3582 billet turbo, and it's doing freaking awesome, guys. I can't express how happy I am with this car. I cannot wait until I get my Honda in the mail and we can do the boost by gear and all that kind of stuff with this car, and I'll show you guys how to do all that stuff, and we'll turn the freaking boost up on this thing because I'm already getting used to it and I want more. What's new, right? But anyways, the track is in 2 weeks as well, so we'll be doing some track videos coming up in the near future, and I'm sure a bunch of messing around in between now and then. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you enjoyed it, and we will see you in another video. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be doing something else, and yeah, so thumbs up for the good old B20 VTEC turbo.